Play hide and clap?
Insidious versus The Conjuring. 7 reasons one series ages worse. Insidious. It is no exaggeration to say that Insidious and The Conjuring stand as 2 of the most defining horror franchises of the 2010s. Both of these movies don't just grip your heart with extreme fear from time to time. They've got more than that in common. They brought in the same director, James Wan. But time always reveals which stories perform better on and off the screen. In this video, we'll unravel why The Conjuring has managed to hold its ground as a horror legacy, while Insidious shows more of the wear and tear that comes with time. Let's get right in. Franchise consistency. For our first point, let's look at the level of consistency each movie portrays. Because when you start a horror franchise, the scariest thing isn't the demon, it's whether the sequels can sustain the flames kindled by the initial movie. The Conjuring nails this. From the first film down to The Devil Made Me Do It, the tone feels steady. The Warrens are always at the center. The storytelling mixes supernatural terror with human drama. And the atmosphere stays grounded in the 1970s period horror style. So when you watch each film, you feel like you're in the same haunted universe. And seeing them makes the experience feel so real. Now, compare that to Insidious. The first movie gave us that chilling tiptoe through the tulips moment and the terrifying lipstick-faced demon crawling out of the shadows. It was simple, direct, and very creepy. But then came Insidious Chapter 2 with all its family drama flashbacks, and suddenly the tone shifted. By the time we hit Insidious: The Last Key, the series leaned more into mystery thriller than horror. It's like the franchise couldn't decide what it wanted to be. That inconsistency hurts the scares, because while The Conjuring builds on a solid foundation every time, Insidious feels like it's switching tracks mid-ride, and nothing kills tension faster than not knowing what kind of horror movie you're even watching. Character anchors. Now, the second thing we're looking at is how the main characters develop in each franchise. In horror, monsters may scare you, but the people in it are what keep you coming back. The Conjuring understands this perfectly. Ed and Lorraine Warren aren't just ghost hunters, they're the heart of the franchise. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga play them with warmth and conviction. Even in the middle of terrifying set pieces like the hide and clap game in the first film or the London haunting in The Conjuring 2, you feel safe rooting for the Warrens. They give the audience someone to hold on to, a consistent emotional anchor in a world full of chaos. Now, Insidious starts strong with the Lambert family. Josh and Renee fighting to save their son Dalton from the further gave the first movie its emotional punch. The second film continues their story, but after that, the family fades out. By Chapter 3, we're following an entirely new household. And when we get to The Last Key, the spotlight shifts again, this time to Elise's backstory. So instead of one clear emotional thread, the series keeps jumping between different characters. Although Lynn Shay as Elise is a fan favorite, she's only a psychic medium and not the kind of grounded everyman character audiences easily get attached to. It's like making Bruce Wayne's butler the center of the Batman franchise. She's great at delivering lore, like explaining the rules of the further, but she doesn't replace the feeling of watching a family we've grown to care about fight for survival across multiple films. Meanwhile, the Warrens built a legacy. They connect all the films. They show up at the center of every main entry, and they even make the spin-offs feel part of a bigger picture. Why? Because their cases are the thread. The stories of Annabelle and the Nun tie back to something the Warrens touched. Without that kind of anchor, Insidious struggles. And that's why when people think about which franchise they'd revisit, it's easier to remember the Warrens than anyone from the Lambert family.
Daily horror news and lists at likehorror.com.
Worldbuilding. Let's talk about how each franchise builds its world. The Conjuring takes a careful approach. Every mainline film introduces a case connected to the Warrens, and those cases often leave doors open for spin-offs. That's how we get Annabelle, The Nun, and The Curse of La Llorona. Even if the spin-offs vary in quality, they all feel like they belong to one larger universe. The stories connect back to the Warrens in some way, and that consistency makes the whole franchise easier to follow and more rewarding for fans. Insidious works differently. The first film introduces the idea of the further, a kind of ghostly astral plane. At first it feels fresh and eerie, but as the sequels continue, the concept doesn't expand much. We get more entities like the lipstick-faced demon and the bride in black, but their backstories feel thin compared to how much screen time they get. By the time we reach Insidious: The Red Door, the rules of the further are still vague and the novelty starts to wear off. Instead of a growing universe, it feels like the films are recycling the same set of ideas without really moving forward. So while one franchise ties the world of humanity to the supernatural through possession, the other just sort of repeats the same patterns over and over again. Number 4, scarecrafting. Scares are where horror either shines or stumbles, and Insidious deserves some respect here. The first film has one of the most famous jump scares of the last decade. The series leans into those sharp jolts, and when they land, they never disappoint. But the problem is consistency. As the sequels were released, Insidious started to rely too heavily on loud sound cues and sudden cuts. By Insidious Chapter 3 and The Red Door, you can sometimes just predict when the loud noise is about to hit. It's like the movie is tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Get ready, here it comes." That repetition makes the fear wear off, especially if you're watching the films back to back. The Conjuring handles scares differently. James Wan builds atmosphere through long takes, shadows, and sound design. Think about the hide and clap scene from the first film. The camera lingers in the dark hallway, you hear the claps, and your brain fills in the rest. That is terrifying, and nothing even shows up on the screen. Then, in The Conjuring 2, the Crooked Man sequence balances unsettling design with tension and pacing. It feels more like a nightmare unraveling than a cheap jolt. Because The Conjuring mixes up its scare techniques, it stays fresh. The dread-filled atmosphere and jump scares all work together. Insidious started with flashes of brilliance, but over time, its toolbox felt limited. Number 5, audience reviews. Next, let's check the stats on each franchise. Reviews matter because a franchise isn't just about the box office event, it's about how the audience feels after watching. So when judging between The Conjuring and Insidious, we clearly see more retention with the former. The Conjuring's first movie sits above a rating of 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, and The Conjuring 2 scored almost the same. Even The Devil Made Me Do It, while weaker, still kept audiences talking. Insidious started strong, and while the first film was praised for being small-scale and creepy, by Chapter 3 and The Red Door, the reviews fell to around 40%. Audiences described them as fine but forgettable. That difference matters because when people recommend horror today, The Conjuring is still in the top-tier conversation, while Insidious feels more like a side note. Oh right, that was James Wan too. One franchise is celebrated as modern classic horror. The other risk is being remembered as a product of its decade as time passes. Or put another way, The Conjuring still feels essential in the horror genre, while Insidious feels like something you might revisit only if you're curious. Number 6, fan retention. In terms of villains, The Conjuring managed to stick around in ways that feel bigger. For instance, Valak became an instant horror icon, plastered across posters, memes, and even spin-off movies like The Nun. Lipstick-faced demon? He was terrifying in the moment, but his presence didn't linger the same way after audiences walked out of the theater. Outside of horror fans, most people couldn't even tell you his name. The Conjuring also has rewatch value. The scares land, but so do the family moments, from the Warrens' relationship to the Perrons' desperation. You can see it in the little details, like when Lorraine comforts Carolyn Perron in the kitchen, telling her she understands the feeling of being overwhelmed as a mother. That moment shifts the film from just ghosts in a house to families trying to hold it together. And then there's the climax, when Carolyn is possessed and Lorraine calls back memories of her family, reminding her of her daughter's love. That emotional pull gives the final exorcism more weight than just a showdown with evil. These touches make the film worth revisiting, because you're not only watching the scares, you're watching relationships deepen and carry the story. With Insidious, once you've seen the jump scares, the story doesn't really pull you back in quite as much. The atmosphere plays a role too. The Conjuring films use a Gothic atmosphere and period settings that feel timeless, while Insidious plays with dreamlike surrealism that can feel dated once the novelty wears off. Insidious sequels exist, and as more of them got made, they stretched thin and could not dominate conversations the same way The Conjuring does. One final point is that The Conjuring is said to be based on true life events from the mid-1970s to early 80s, which keeps you wondering how it must have felt to live in such a time. This just adds that extra touch of horror because it's no longer just fiction, it's history.
Thank you, No Scream. You missed 7 details.
Number 7 is cinematic craft. Lastly, Insidious and The Conjuring were both directed by James Wan, but the way they're shot and styled tells you why one feels fresher years later and the other feels stuck in its era. Insidious leans hard on flashy tricks. The red door glowing in the darkness, the swirling smoke when Joss Asheville projects, even the strobe-heavy finale in The Further. At the time, it felt inventive, but looking back, those sequences scream early 2010s horror. Meanwhile, the Conjuring films go in the opposite direction. Wan shoots them like periodic dramas that happen to be haunted. Think of the opening shots of the Perron family moving into their Rhode Island farmhouse. The lighting is warm, the costumes feel authentic, and the camera glides in a way that sets up drama before the horror even kicks in. That style doesn't date as fast because it's anchored in a specific time period rather than current visual trends. And the cinematography choices matter. In The Conjuring, the naturalistic flow builds tension because you're waiting for something to happen without a quick edit bailing you out. Insidious, on the other hand, often goes for abrupt jump cuts and aggressive sound cues. Effective, sure, but it feels more like a funhouse ride than a carefully staged story. You watch it once, you get the jolt, and that's pretty much it. The Conjuring plays it much slower, much quieter. Lorraine walks into the dark room, no score, just the creak of the floorboards and her own breathing. Then 2 hands clap from the shadows. No music cue, no loud sting, just raw silence broken by a sound that shouldn't be there. It feels lived in, making it scarier every time you revisit it. It's these differences between the movies that make one feel like a product of its exact release window, and the other feels like it could have been shot 20 years ago or 20 years from now. So there you have it, guys. Nothing like looking at the cover of a horror movie and just feeling all the emotions that come with it. If you love this video, check out the top 10 horror comedy films that will make you laugh and scream. Till next time, make sure to leave the lights on at night. You never know what's lurking in the shadows.